We as spiritual entrepreneurs or even coaches in general, we are so scared to voice our pricing on the discovery calls or in the stories or something. Like, it's this much. It's like one tiny meow, and then we expect the thing to be given to us.
Well, hello and welcome back to the Amanda Kaufman Show. And we are continuing our segment on the coaches that don't suck. Now, my guest, Ashu, I was so intrigued by what she was doing on Instagram. I definitely stalked her, checked out all of her website and what people had to say. And then I was like, goodness, we need to just talk on the podcast a bit about let me explain, dear listener. Ashu is a coach for light leaders who are ready to own their fierce self-expression and build audiences that trust you with their eyes closed. With over 4 years of experience, Ashu has worked with more than 500 women, having many of them hit those juicy 6-figure months. I know that's a huge initial goal for most coaches. She does this by integrating feline energy. And I have so many questions here, but it's cool. We're gonna have time to unpack it. The bold, fierce, and unapologetic self-expression, which helps you birth match made in heaven offers and whisker licking good marketing. Well, this bio is already really wonderful. I loved it. Ashley, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Amanda. I'm so excited, and I like that you stalked my profile, which usually happens the moment I mention feline energy.
Yes, I love it. Okay, so tell us about this. You're helping coaches to build their audiences, be way more confident in their marketing. Why feline energy? Where is that coming from?
It's a gift that I received. So since I work with spiritual entrepreneurs, the more I work with them, the more I open up to my own gifts and the spiritual side of things. I started channeling, I started opening Akashic records, and all of that journey happened. And on 12th December 2023, I received this gift of feline energy, and I got too excited, and I was like, okay, I need to tell everyone about it. And I didn't download the entire concept. I was just like, okay, feline energy, let's make it work. And I created a 3-day event, and that event got me booked out for my private coaching for 1 full year. I got too lazy. I kept having those juicy monthly recurring revenues come through. And then my clients slowed down because I was too lazy to do anything. And that's when my guides were like, you didn't download the concept fully. You need to sit down, channel the entire thing through. So then the 5 pillars came through. Then they told me, now you need to go out on podcasts, share with as many people as you can about feline energy. Now that was like the birth of it. But I know people are like, what does it even mean? What is it like? So I like to explain it by asking you a question. I want you to tell me, what is a feline that comes to your mind? If I say, think of a feline, what is the first feline that comes to your mind?
My cat. I have 2 cats, and I actually thought of the cat that I picked him out of the adoption. His name's Kaiser Sose. He's a black cat. He is at least 60% puppy. Like, he's so friendly. He's for sure a cat, but he's so interested anytime we have a guest come over to the house. And, he has like these more traditionally dog-like qualities.
Okay.
Being very affectionate. But yeah, that's what I thought of.
Exactly my next question. So if you think of a cat, what are some qualities you associate with that feline, so with the cat in this case?
Yeah, well, with him, he's very friendly, super affectionate, but he's also his own cat. So when he's had enough for whatever reason, which it never seems to be enough, but I trust that he'll walk away, he'll create his own space and his own boundaries. I also think of, he rests a lot, being a cat, he does a lot of sleeping. Yeah. But yeah, and he also will be tenacious. Like, if he really wants something, he will work lots of different angles to get what he wants.
Yes. Now I want you to think of all those qualities, forget about the cat, and think of how have you been putting these qualities or embodying these qualities in your life? Where have you been tenacious and trying to get things work out no matter how you get to it? Where have you like set boundaries, let's say in your business, where you are very super affectionate? Like people are like, I have to be either super professional or super affectionate, there's no in between. But the feline is a proper embodiment of I will be cute and cuddly till you mess with me, then I am not. Then I get to be my fierce self. So I'm vulnerable and fierce at the same time.
That's
So, how
awesome.
have you been embodying it in your business and life? Is how you have already been tapped into the feline energy without knowing.
This is so fascinating. I love this. And I'm thinking of all these different examples. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm totally cute and cuddly until you cross me, right? And
Yes.
like and what's really funny is like when a cat has a spat or something like that, what I notice is that they walk away pretty quick. It's past history. We have a second cat and she, sometimes they'll get into a little tussle or whatever, and then it's like it never happened. It's really interesting.
Yes. One thing I absolutely love about cats in general is like, because I sometimes get scared of dogs. And the example that I give people is dogs will chase you till the end of the world if they get behind you. Because I come from a place where there are a lot of stray dogs. If one gets behind you, they will chase you. I have had dogs run after me. But if a cat is mad at you, she's just gonna hiss till the time you're outside her boundary circle, and then she's still gonna sit there. She's not gonna follow you. She's going to preserve as much energy, and I like that. That is safe for me and safe for her. So that is why I love talking about feline, but it just doesn't have to be related to cats in general. I use cats because it's the best example. I literally have a foster cat coming in today after this podcast interview, so I will be getting all the gifts, opening her records, and all of that. But at the same time, I have a lot of my clients telling me, I feel I'm a lioness, I'm a tiger. And all of
Mm.
those are the avatars of the feline that they resonate with. And then I work with my clients to help them activate those avatars. Because if you think of a cat in terms of the voice, if I talk about, if they want food, they will meow till your ears hurt. They're like, I need
Tell
it
me
right
about
now.
it. Yes.
Yes, but we as spiritual entrepreneurs or even coaches in general, we are so scared to voice our pricing on the discovery calls or in the stories or something like, it's this much. It's like one tiny meow, and then we expect the thing to be given to us, and we become sort of like scared because of the throat chakra being dimmed down so much. And that's where embodying the feline really helps you roar. That's why the feline roars, right? So we get that embodiment of it so that we can constantly go out and share about our gifts, which are much needed, instead of feeling like we are annoying people out there.
I love this. I love how the origins of this came from a very spiritual place. And I thought it was also really interesting in the other part of your story about, oh, you need the whole download. You need the structure. I have a engineering type background, of like math. I love spreadsheets and things like that too. So I get very excited when people talk about structure and rhythm and process. And I love just how you've been able to marry those two worlds together so nicely to have like a full structure. So what do you mind if sharing, like, what are the 5 pillars of feline
Absolutely.
energy?
Absolutely. Like I love that you mentioned that you love the spreadsheets and stuff, because I am a type A person through and through. I need everything planned and I need everything like logically organized as such. And
Hmm.
what I do for my clients is I have those 5 pillars which I'll introduce, but I have this questionnaire for all 5 pillars. I assess them and then I create a graph for them and I show them that here are the pillars you need to work on the most. So there is a
Girl, this is
visual element of it.
amazing. This is so
Yes.
cool. I
So
love
you
how
would
you
dig it. I
followed
feel like
all
you
this
would dig that.
through. Yeah, no, it's incredible. So please go on.
Okay, so the 5 pillars. First, they're basically like a Venn diagram. Everything overlaps each other. There's no hierarchy as such. But let's talk about the first one, which is healing and rebirth. Because cats have 9 lives. So this is the healing and rebirth. And the Egyptian history, you think of the goddesses that are there. Some of them have cat heads. Like Bastet is one of the goddess that has a cat head, and she has the healing powers. So that is the avatar of this pillar, Goddess Bastet, and we work like under this, we work on things like business wounds, money wounds, and this section divides into two: self and generations or family. So for the self, I go with your current life and your past life. So I work with, let's say, Akashic records, womb healing, all of that, whatever you have gone through. Then I have the generational part of it. So if there are money issues, stories that you've experienced, that a lot of my clients usually have, I have so many stories of these happening. We work on the family constellation side of it, because I'm also pursuing a counseling master's to be able to integrate those two together. So we go with that. So that's the healing and rebirth, where this is a pillar that most of the people have to work on. Like, it's always the highest point in the graphs, because a lot of people are carrying so much, especially spiritual entrepreneurs, because there are things like witch wounds, and we forget that, like, when witches were burnt, the cats were also burnt with them. So we, coming here as a feline counterpart, we can use their help to heal those wounds. The second pillar is intuitive wisdom. Do you want to say something?
Oh, it is fascinating. It's a really interesting perspective. And I'm not terribly surprised to hear that people spend so much time on that first pillar. That's been my experience as well, is that, giving that permission for the rebirth and to let go. In fact, on my arms, I have a tattoo. I have Do What Matters. So that's really allowing yourself to recalibrate on your values and recalibrate on what matters now, given the new information, the new circumstances, and the new energy you might find yourself in. And letting it go is giving yourself permission to leave the past where it is, and to, extract the learnings, leave the guilt, leave the shame, leave like whatever you need to leave behind from an emotional and energetic, spiritual, I would say, perspective, so that you can be all in on doing what matters.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love the tattoos that you mentioned. And yes. All right. The second pillar is intuitive wisdom. This is associated with the avatar of the lynx, which is the whole... You already see a cat is so much associated with mysticism, magic, and all of that stuff. So intuitive wisdom is the pillar where I use my gifts like tarot reading, channeling, anything. Like when my clients are in my private coaching containers, I am their personal tarot reader. You have a question, you ask me, I'll deliver the guidance. And I'm always on the calls when I'm sitting. I call my guides before I go on the call, and then I channel the wisdom through. Like, okay, you are asking me something, I'm answering it. Right now also, I am wearing my bracelet to channel through. And then after the call, I forget at times what I talked about. And my clients say that I speak very differently on the call. So that's like the intuitive wisdom part of it. And this can be used so beautifully. Like you can connect to spirit of offers, spirit of content pieces, spirit of the business in general, and download when to launch, what to launch, how many modules are going to be there, how many people are going to be there. You can download all of it instead of trying to look at other people for inspiration and copying them for, okay, this person is launching a membership. Memberships are in trend. Let me do that as well. It doesn't. That's not an intentionally led business or intuitive led business as well. So that's the intuitive wisdom part.
I love that. That's so good. And, I do find a lot of value in, for example, if I'm choosing to learn a new skill, but like what skill are you choosing to learn? Right. And, for example, I decided late last year to enroll in a program to be better at delivering like a membership. So, but the thing is like, why did I feel that I needed to go membership? Right? What was that nudge? And I would say totally intuition. Intuition that's like where I should go next. And then in terms of like learning, as I'm going through the process, I'm following it pretty much to a T, with the recipe that's being given by the mentor and all of that kind of thing. But I love that example of like, but if you trace like all the way back before you started, what told you needed to point your toes in that direction? Right.
So you asked me before we got on this podcast, you asked me if I use Riverside. I didn't use it for a very long time, but then the season 3 of my podcast channeled through, and my guides were specifically, I had not heard of Riverside before that. My guide said, use Riverside. And I'm like, I don't even get what you mean. And I don't want to. And I took the free trial. I was like, I hate taking payment subscriptions and stuff. But the guys channeled it through, and it made so much sense because once I recorded it, I saw the potential. And then
it's so good.
Now, yes, it is pretty good.
Not paid to say it, just saying it is. It's so good. Yeah, you've got good guidance.
Yes. All right. Okay. Third pillar. Third pillar is energy work, which is the avatar of a cat. which is very easy to explain, because you will see a cat has mastered the art of energy conservation and protection. The cat is always sleeping, like I said, most of the time, but they have their zoomy periods. Those zoomy periods are basically you being in flow state and working, getting work done, and then you resting instead of working all the time and resting very less. When you embody that avatar of a cat, you're able to do that in your business. Now, how it translates when I coach my clients is I see them hire all of these people but still doing the work. Sorry, I got so excited. Still doing the work of the people they have hired, and they're paying. So I have to tell them, this is how you delegate properly. This is who to hire. This is how to hire. These are the SOPs you need in place. And all of that goes in there. How many client calls are you taking in a week? How much are you being there on Voxer or Telegram and everything? So that all of this boundary setting goes in the energy work section. So there's like a very tangible point as well to ground these pillars.
Oh, God.
Yeah. All right. The fourth pillar is quantum jumps, which is related to the cat's ability, or you can think of a cat's ability to jump 6 times their height. But the avatar for this is like a cheetah or a leopard, you know how fast they go. And this has everything to do with manifestation, limiting beliefs, and all of that fun stuff. So I always end up mixing the elements of, okay, I don't see the vision. You need to bring the vision to life. You need to think more about it. You need to connect with the guides and manifest and all of that. So that's like the quantum leaps. And I think it's pretty self-explanatory because manifestation has become very popular at this point. And the last pillar that I save always for the last, because it's like the biggest one, is fear self-expression. And that is associated with a lion, or a lioness to be precise. A lioness who's vocal, who's able to speak. It's where we do the throat chakra work. It's also where I help my clients with the messaging, how to launch, what to launch, refining their offer, how are they presenting it on the calls, doing, if they want to do discovery calls, we do the mock discovery calls so that I can give them feedback, and all of their content. If they want to go and maybe start a podcast, I help with that, a YouTube channel, newsletter, whatever it is. So all of that comes into the fierce expression of self pillar, which is the avatar of a lioness. Those were the 5.
And you know, that avatar of the lioness, I would say that's what attracted me to being curious and led us to a DM dialogue. Like, y'all, if you don't think social media works for meeting people, like, just, you're not using it right. But, you know, your choice, Ashu, to choose like Feline Energy, that was like such a hook. I was like, what the heck is this? And I'll be honest, I was a little like, is she crazy? And then I like looked at it and I'm like, she's not crazy. This is on purpose. And it's actually really pretty well done. And, you know, as I went deeper and deeper, but I think like the thing is some coaches really feel like they have to scream in order to roar, you know? And I thought what was so unique about you is your authentic expression and your choice that like, no, it's weird, but I'm going to do it because it's like it makes perfect sense. Like it's, you know, the closer you look, the more you realize and you go, oh, yeah. And like, that's one big reason I actually invited you here, because part of my mission is I believe the world's a better place through diverse leadership. And that's achieved through the risky business of authentic expression of self for the purpose of service to others. And like, I just felt like you embodied that to a T. So I was like, all right, I'm going to invite her. Like, let's go. Let's do this thing.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me. It was absolutely lovely. And I love that you mentioned that some people need to scream. Then you will see, like, if you call a cat, sometimes they don't respond. Even if they're just there, they don't respond. And I read that it's because they can see you. If they can see you, they are like, I see you. I know you're already there. I do not need to acknowledge every time. I know it's there. So I was like, oh, I like that, you know, that sassy attitude of a cat. And that is what also drew me to cats. And I was asked to foster cats, take care of them, sent to Australia because there are, the cats are like a introduced species here. They're not the natural ones. And the feline energy is very dim in here. So I was sent here to enhance that, and the gift was coming. It's just a beautiful journey it has been to connect with these beings. Yeah.
That's so cool. Well, I'm just going to encourage anybody who's listening, definitely go check out Ashu on Instagram. Go check out her website. She did a beautiful job. She's got wonderful social proof. She's got look at how she does stuff because it was really well executed. Ashu, what's the best way for people to follow you?
The best way would be Instagram itself because I live, breathe Instagram. One of my gifts is if a good client tells me a content piece, I can already see it happen. Oh, this is a carousal, this is the title, this is the reel, this is the title. I can literally see it. So I think Instagram is the place for you to connect. If you emailed me, I would probably take like 4 days to reply to that. But Instagram is like 2 hours and I'm going to be responding. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I'm a big fan of Instagram as well. All right. Well, we'll make sure that we have your link below. And listener, hey, if you love this, make sure you subscribe so you can hear more amazing episodes talking about all the ways that you can be successful as a coach. I think Ashu did a beautiful job of describing that and modeling that and showing up in a really powerful way. So don't forget to subscribe. And also, if you could just take like a minute to review the podcast. You can leave us a 5-star review, please. But seriously, just an honest review of the podcast. It'll help people to decide whether to spend time with us. And I will see you in another episode. Thanks for coming, Ashu.
Thank you.
All right.